What's up, people? My name's Max. I'm a wrestling fan, wrestling enthusiast, WrestleManiac, if you will. And you're tuned into another episode of 5 Things We Learned from AEW Dynamite. Of course, I'm joined with Gigi. I'm joined with NK. All their information down below. You catch me and NK up on the Wrestling's channel, Wrestling's description, follow link, subscribe link, whatever you call it, is in the description, along with Gigi's GG on wrestling as well. Guys, how are we doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Hot.
Yeah,
Very. It's so hot, man. I'm melting, bruv. I'm literally melting. Stay hydrated, people. Stay hydrated out there.
The heat this week has literally come out of nowhere. I don't think anyone was really planning for this too tough, but
I see fires on the way home, bruv. Like,
swear.
England just ain't prepped for this stuff, man. Like, I'm just on the train and I swear down, the fire was literally on the other side of the platform, literally. And I'm going past on the train. I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. England ain't ready, man. They ain't built for this.
England really aren't. Like, all kinds of, whether it's adverse in terms of cold or adverse to whether in the heat.
Yeah, either way.
They're just not ready. It's true. It's facts. But we never come in to talk about weather. Come in to discuss Quake at the lake.
Terrible name.
Segue.
The name is not good, but you know the event as a whole generally was good. We got a few staff clarity and a few things. We're taking steps now towards AEW All Out, which is September the 4th, so not too far away, less than a month away at this point. But yeah, I mean, straight out the gate, we'll start off with, I guess, the first thing that we learned. One of the big things coming out from the main event segment, particularly, it is that CM Punk has returned. He had a standoff with the interim AEW World Champion Moxley, and it looks like this is our all-out main event. NK, this was one of your selections. Kind of speak us through what happened here in this segment, and where you think this is going.
So yeah, obviously, big ups to Chris Jericho and Moxley. They had a really good match. Obviously, with a Moxley match, there's the standard. It comes with blood. You know what I'm saying? When you order a Moxley match, it comes with blood on the side. So yeah, he had a great match with Chris Jericho, and obviously, the Circle came in, for the beatdown. A few of the Blackpool Combat Club members came in for this, to even things out, and then Mr. CM Punk came out for the ultimate save, and the pop he got, listen, like, the people love him. I was actually shocked, like, even though I kind of expected him to come, because when I looked at the match time, I was like, hold on, this match is starting surprisingly early. There must be an angle after this match. Like I said, there must be an angle, and I had my suspicions that maybe it might be CM Punk, but just to see him come out, I was like, wow. And then, like, even though, like, the whole interim title thing is in debate, if considering how quick he came back, I'm not as against the interim title now, seeing how fast CM Punk came back as well. But obviously they had their face-off, and just that face-off alone, this feud is going to be money. Like, we know Punk for his promos, we know Moxley for his promos, the intensity, the passion. I can't wait for the segments. Like, I'm just as excited for the segments, as well as the match. Like, this, it feels big time. Like, this is probably, like, I'll say it to you, this is probably like one of the biggest matches AEW have done, if not probably the biggest match. Aside from like cross promotion collaborations like Forbidden Door, but this.
Well, when you think about how big of a name John Moxley is in AEW, and he is, the name effectively, he is the megastar of AEW somewhat. Apart from your household Jericho's maybe, but him coming through and winning the title it is a big match, bro. It's massive.
Yeah,
this is sure. They're two biggest stars, isn't it?
Probably, yeah. Like, yeah. I think it's probably the biggest match they've done. Yeah. Just one minor nitpick. I wish CM Punk came out with the title. Just do the double.
See, I was gonna ask you about this though. Do you think it was a conscious decision not to, because it's been done so many times, and that there's, or is it the case that they ain't got two belts and Like
that belt looks expensive, so
because when obviously I knew he was coming out, and then I see the like the picture. Obviously, you tweeted it as well. I was like, oh, why didn't they bring the belt out? Would I have liked to have seen the belt versus the belt? Yes, it's a good image, but then is it tired? Only purely because Punk's done it before. That was my only concern. But then does that add to it? I'm a bit torn between it, man. I don't know if I want it or not.
Maybe that for that reason is exactly why he didn't do it. Maybe for someone else they would have, but him, it's like we've literally had this visual of himself and Cena, both men with titles. I can imagine with AEW and with Punk, they're treating this belt then more than just a kind of a merch thing. Like you can't even buy this belt for merch. Like it's probably treated with a bit more reverence. So it's like, there is only one sort of thing. It did cross my mind as well now that NK mentioned it. But at the same time, I didn't really mind it that he didn't come out with it. Obviously, he came out. He would have probably thrown it to the ground anyway because he came out to clear house.
Makes sense.
So that might be
because we could still get that visual during the feud. Like there's a few weeks where we can have that, to end the show or whatever. And I'm like you said, NK, it's a big match. The promos are going to be good, but just the fact that they've got history to pull on, like they've got stuff that they can pull from. They've like the WWE stuff, and they've worked together before. So I just like that there's a bit of history there that they can, pull stuff from.
And they seem like two sides of the same coin, to be honest. But they're very Moxley and CM Punk are like very scarily similar. They're very similar people. So listen, it's gotta be very interesting. And already, not to get ahead of myself, but already I like the fact that the All Out, we can kind of roadmap what a lot of the card would be, and that's a criticism we've had about a lot of AEW pay-per-views where we feel like, where's this going? Like, where are we going? I feel like with All Out, there's been a very clear direction and things are moving, towards the pay-per-view at a good rate.
I have one, maybe it's an unpopular opinion. I don't know, but I'm gonna say.
Here we go, Max. You're always the bearer of bad news. You are.
No, it's not even bad news. This is just how I'm feeling right now. Yeah, right now, or come All Out in a couple of weeks' time. Bun Punk. I'm trying to see Moxley keep this title. I think this is Moxley's. This run is better than when he was first initially.
Yeah.
Like.
You almost want it for him as well, innit? Like, because of, his run was not tarnished, but hindered somewhat by the pandemic. He made the most of it. And he is he's just there, not even homegrown star, but do you know what I mean? He is AEW. So you want it for him, innit?
When Punk beat Hangman, I was like, I like Hangman, innit? But Punk is Punk, and I get it. And I was on the train with Punk, innit? He got injured. Bro, you've missed the train, innit? We've moved on. I almost feel like it would be somewhat criminal with the run Moxley's on, especially if it's just handed back to him at All Out. If they go, a while for it, back and forth, and then maybe at Arthur Ashe or somewhere else down the line, Punk wins it, then I don't mind. If Punk wins it at All Out, I think I would like to see him play more of a heel persona. And that's how he's kind of done it and got it back or whatever. But if it's just going to be both of these guys as they are now, I'm going to be vexed if Punk wins this title back at All Out. I'll tell you now.
I'm very... Because this was the destination anyways if Punk wasn't injured. This was always going to be the roadmap. It was going to be Moxley versus Punk. I'm interested to see who the crowd will favor. Because people have been loving this John Moxley run. I've been loving this John Moxley run. Just the stuff Moxley's done this year. Blackpool Combat Club, the matches he's had. He's a lot of people's candidate for Wrestler of the Year. So it's like, I want to see who the fans cheer for because CM Punk is beloved. But I want to see, I kind of want CM Punk to take a more heelish approach. So I'm okay with him winning, but And to be fair, he's kind of shed like the happy babyface persona, anyways. But yeah, like if you're gonna win, be a bastard. Like,
that's it.
Be a bastard. If he wins as a babyface,
if Omega's gonna come in face, then it might all the
because
stars
the face
may
side
align.
of AEW is very heavy. We need someone to, or I'd say the way I'd be happy with Punk winning is Punk wins clean babyface, and then a certain Maxwell Jacob Friedman comes at the end of the pay-per-view, and then we set up that for whatever, I think for Full Gear next year. That's when I'll be like, do you know what? Keep Punk as a face. But it's interesting. But this is kind of how, and we've said this before as well when it comes to AEW. And we said this with Hangman and Punk. This is how big matches should make you feel. Like, yes, we predict Punk will win, but we don't know. They could easily go with Moxley and it makes perfect sense. And a lot of the time with AEW pay-per-views, the conclusion's so predictable and there's not really that much anticipation for the match because like there's not really much drama. Like we know this guy's gonna go over, this guy's gonna go over. With this match, you can make cases for both wrestlers and like nobody's gonna argue with you. So yeah, man, like big matches, man. This is what I like, man. Big match field. Let's go, man. I'm excited. I'm ready for this build. I'm ready.
100.
And I just want to say as well, CM Punk, 3 weeks ago, hopping around Comic-Con with a boot on, saying he's still injured, working everyone, knowing full well he was ready to come back, and he hops on his foot as well, just to drive it home, man. It's good stuff.
No more guardrail jumping. Ban it. You should never do it. Never.
He never should have done it in the first place.
Yeah.
No more box shots. No more guardrails. None of that.
Just stay on your feet.
None of that.
GTS and
Not
done.
even,
like,
don't even go
you might as well
second
bring back Anaconda Vice as your finisher. Forget the G. Anything that's got below the knees, forget about it.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to see Punk have a match before All Out, if I'm completely honest. Like, yeah, he might want to tune up, like get a ring of ring rust, like let him have some training stuff behind closed doors, like or just gym work in it. Like yeah. How long has he been off? About 3 months or so?
Yeah.
3-4 months,
Has it been
maybe.
that long?
I think so, yeah. It's
feel like that.
by the beginning of September. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I let him. He can just come back into it. I'm sure there isn't lots of ring rust there anyway. He's probably been doing some training behind closed doors anyway.
At most, just put him in a tag match. At most, I'd put him in a tag match and let him get like his 5-second spots in, and then keep it stepping.
Yeah. Big up everyone in the live chat. Troy Owen, yes man, then what's good? Big up Troy. Joey says this is going to be the biggest main event in AEW history. I still wish it was taking place at the Soldier Field in front of over 60,000 fans this year. What, did they move the venue?
I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, that is how the show ended. Like I said, I'm in Moxie's corner unless Punk decides to turn heel and gives us one of those fantastic heel runs that we know he's capable of. Then I'm not personally trying to see him become champion, at least at All Out. So,
would you give your last both of you? Would you give your last £50 that Maxwell Jacob Friedman does make an appearance at the end of All Out?
That's what I was gonna say. So obviously, you when you first mentioned MJF, it was to balance the heel face dynamic. But we all know if MJF returns All Out, the pop he's gonna get is ridiculous. So that doesn't necessarily fix that issue.
Yeah. That is true. He's gonna get
worrying though. It's worrying.
He's gonna get a crazy pop because I feel people are missing him.
How's Tony Khan gonna deal with that though? Like
the thing is, you can turn MJF heel the next day. Like the next Dynamite. That's easy.
Yeah.
But when he
for
comes
him,
back,
it's easy.
Yeah, when he comes back though, he's gonna get a pop. Like he's gonna get a pop. Like I don't know, but he has to do something like really bad. Like really bad. Yeah, I don't
know what he can do to, not be cheered, even if he does something mad. Like he was bloody cussing and swearing at Tony Khan and people were loving it. So
I think he'll have to bad up JR or something, man. Push JR off the stage. It's the only way. It's the only way to get your heat back, bro. Or fart on
yeah.
Excalibur's head, bro. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, you have to do something like wild. I don't know.
Something sinister.
Yeah. Like a goofy finish, like throwing the towel for somebody. I don't know, like
yeah, cost someone a match, something like that.
Yeah, something.
Cool. Okay, well, Punk is back. I guess there's one more person where we're waiting to return now, and then all the Infinity Stones of AEW will be back in place. Well, I guess we'll get onto that shortly. Let's talk about this one. I believe this is another one from yourself, NK. Another thing that we learned from AEW Dynamite. Darby Allin is yet to lose a coffin match. He's now undefeated, and I think about 3 coffin matches, 2 of them taking place this year. This match with Brody King was excellent. I'm sorry. This match was so cold. Like from beginning to end. It got a bit over convoluted when House of Black and stuff kind of got involved.
Yeah.
It took away from the action that was happening in the ring and slowed us down a lot. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I thought the finish was really good. NK, what was your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I tuned into the match slightly, like a couple minutes, literally around 5 minutes after like Dynamite started. So I was watching live.
That was probably when the stream started. To be fair, though, because Fight TV, I don't know if did it start live on time, because the Fight replay starts like 5 minutes in. Brody's already sliced up.
So maybe it was the stream, because it was like I literally turned on the laptop and I'm like, he's bleeding already. Like what?
I knew NK was gonna love it. When I turned it on this one, I was like, NK is gonna be gassed over this, man. Like 5 minutes blood.
This didn't look like, because you can tell when something's bladed and something's hard way, but like the way Brody was, like it was a lot
streaming.
It was streaming. I was like, all right, like this is great. Like I said, but one critique of the match was Mex mentioned. I love Sting to death, but the House of Black Sting stuff, it felt a bit awkward. It didn't take away from the match overall too much, but it was like I could have done without that, or you could have saved that till after the match. But regardless, that finish with Darby choking Brody
clean.
First and foremost, it's like, again, it's just like good in-ring storytelling, consistency, because that's how Brody eliminated Darby from the Battle Royal, and I think Brody's choked out Darby after that as well. So Darby,
in a singles match, he nearly beat him by count.
Yeah, exactly. Well. So I like the fact that they went back and referenced that, but that's a great finish in general, because it's like, I'm not gonna beat this guy, but anybody can get choked out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take a chain, choke him out, he falls into the coffin, and that excellent match. Darby coffin matches are Darby's specialty at this point. I think those are his matches. The way Buried Alive was Undertaker's matches.
It's his gimmick match,
like the coffin matches are Darby's thing, which I like. I like the fact that he's got his own thing. I think this should be the last one for the year. Maybe the next year do one, I don't know. But great opener, exciting, and as always, pour it.
Yeah, I was thinking, man spent like maybe at least the best part of an hour at minimum doing all that sick face paint, and I really think every time he does that face paint, it is so sick. Like I think I like his best than anyone else in House of Black. And then literally 3 minutes from when the broadcast started until when he was busted open, I was in tears. I was laughing my head off. I thought, they're gonna keep coming with this blood. They ain't slowing down with blood anytime soon. But it was believable, especially the way it happened.
How did it happen? I didn't see that part. How did it happen?
Thumbtacks on the skateboard, hard way as well. It was hard way.
Yeah,
he just grabbed it. He just put it against his forehead and was just scraping it across his forehead. This is how, because these two are boys, isn't it? In real life, I think, isn't it? They knock about each other. So I already knew. I mean, we've seen them not hold back before this, but I knew it was going to be dangerous. And some of those chops Brody was landing, he was not holding back. And Darby is just carnage, man. I thought it was I'll say this. Out of the House of Black, it's weird because obviously
Obviously, I heard a report that Malachi has been injured for the last 3 months. Well, last couple months, yeah, since Fabinho's been injured, and obviously Buddy Murphy's been injured. But regardless of their injuries, it's funny to say that Brody King's the best booked member of House of Black. It's actually bad. It's actually like Brody, who's the one I knew the least about. I knew the least about Brody. It's like, no, Brody's been presented very well. Like,
do you know what I love as well? It's the he started doing like that.
I love that. I love that.
He's mental. He's mental. Yeah, he's definitely been, this past couple of weeks especially has been his season, and he started with having a championship match, or winning the battle royal, having this championship match. Then obviously he's kind of come down the card, but still doing really good relevant stuff with Darby, especially. You would almost think with a bookend like a coffin match, like this is kind of the end of this little run they've given him. Hopefully it's not. Obviously we're going to see House of Black in the trios tournament, so maybe that could be a little bit of an extension on that. Big up Steve up in the chat. Appreciate you. Right.
Sorry, I was just having a look.
Go on.
I was just having a look. He's on the show, man. He wants to give his opinion on the Darby Allin match. I was just thinking, like, Kenny versus Brody, because I just had to Google it to see if they had a match in PWG or something. That'd be cold. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think Brody definitely could do with having some more high profile matches, even away from the championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. Right, let me just see what we got next on. Sorry, we got a visitor here. Cool. Let's talk about this, and I'll leave you lot to talk about this for a minute while I go do something with this boy. We got Hangman. He's rejected tagging with the Bucks. So Gigi, this was one of yours. We obviously saw what's his face? Matt Jackson went to make the advance, reach out. He put everything on the table. A really sincere apology, I thought, which, yeah, I never thought we were going to get. I thought these guys in the past couple of weeks had just been like, oh, yeah, can we be friends without actually addressing all of the stuff that happened between us? But we got a really sincere apology. But again, the Bucks were unsuccessful, I guess, with their approach. The Dark Order were there, which I think is a very important factor, that both times where things haven't quite happened in terms of, reforming this relationship, it's maybe because the Dark Order have been present. But Hangman said no. He said he's going to be siding with them in the tournament. He's not in anyone's team. He's just going to be rooting for them. And they still need to go and find somewhere else. Brandon Cutler threw his hat in the ring, but we know how that goes with Brandon Cutler. So, yeah, Gigi, what's your thoughts on this? It looked like they're all coming back together, especially for this tournament. Maybe it's still possible. What do you think?
Oh, you already know this was my jam. Like, I don't know if I would have liked to have seen it happen in ring, maybe, would be my only gripe. But yeah, it's just all comes full circle. Like, the whole reason they fell out was because the Young Bucks wouldn't, be in Hangman's corner for his match. We've seen him obviously get uplifted by the Dark Order, get turned on by the Elite, and now it's all full circle because he's actually doing right by the Dark Order for once. I think we all assumed he was just going to go running off. Oh, my old friends are back now. I'm going to go and chill with these lot. But he's done right by them and said, look, I'm going to be in their corner. And obviously a callback to the Young Bucks not being in his when he needed them. And yeah, it was just good, man. Obviously, it was like Hangman looked like he was like pretending to tear up a bit, which was all right, take it or leave it. But yeah, man, it's just storytelling, man. It's detailed, and I love that the Elite are it's just so layered in terms of their history and everything. And the fact that he said you need to, find someone who hasn't turned their back on you. Was that a shot that, because Cody and, Adam Cole have now done that? Or is it because Kenny hasn't turned his back on them and he is coming back? And then, like you said, man, Cutler just, hey, I think he meant me. No, he didn't, bruv. No, he didn't. Settle yourself. He did not mean you, Cutler. He's just
Shut up, Brandon.
It's so funny. But I don't know if there's more to what now you've said it. Like, people are, obviously, I've been fantasy booking this every week, a different scenario as the more it unfolds. And obviously, I think, we thought Hangman was just going to jump in and be, we're together again. But now there's this whole dynamic with, okay, so is it the case he joins the Dark Order in the trios? Because he's going to be involved in this tournament somehow. Like, I'm sure of it. There's going to be some involvement. He's going to have to either save the day for the Dark Order or the Elite. Do the Dark Order turn on Hangman? Is that where we're going? And because you've said, like, they're always there, now I'm thinking, has it been...
I'm thinking as far back as even when they fell out initially, and Hangman would maybe want to go to speak to the Bucks, or the Bucks, when they were feeling a bit guilty at times, they want to go speak to Hangman. And remember, on BTE especially, they obviously a lot of Elite stories play out there. Dark Order had that little layer, that little room, the bar room where they would always chill inside, and it's always like looking into that room and seeing someone else there. And I'm pretty sure throughout this entire story, the Dark Order have always been kind of just in the way when a conversation is needed to be had. Yeah, they've always just been in the way when a conversation is really needed to be had, and we don't ever know if the Dark Order not being there would be like, we will get like a true answer to these questions if they weren't. Couple of questions here, NK, which you can take. Okay. Steve says, is this the return of Kenny Omega next week, or are we just delaying the Hangman Bucks reunion? And Underground Temple Players says, if it's not Omega, do we see Kota Ibushi, the Golden Elite? What's your thoughts on who the third man could be, brother?
As much as I would fanboy over Ibushi, and Ibushi kind of does make... I mean, from the time Hangman said, okay, someone who hasn't turned their back on you, Ibushi kind of doesn't make sense, because Ibushi only likes the Bucks because of Kenny.
It's like Omega.
Because they're boys, but not really friends. Boys. Yeah, they're boys by proxy.
Friend of a friend.
But listen, I'm trying, like, all roads lead to Kenny Omega. All roads, but I'm trying to temper my expectations. But I'm so sorry, you don't do a bracket like that. We're going to get to the brackets, but you don't do a bracket like that and tease a potential match in the future and it not be Kenny. We're going to get to that segment later. But I feel like, it has to be Omega. Now, where they go with this story is mad interesting, because the Dark Order are facing House of Black. What happens there? I don't want Dark Order to win. They shouldn't win. They shouldn't win. But then also, with House of Black, they've got the whole Miro storyline pending. Does he interfere in the match? Does he? Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of... Even though this tournament is predictable, I like the fact that storyline-wise, it's very unpredictable. Like, we don't know. Like, we have an idea of, okay, Elite probably end up in the final. House of Black, out of that side of the bracket, should definitely end up in the final. But it's how. And what I like about this tournament, and I'll compare it to another tournament that they've done. One, they've released the brackets on time, thank God. And two, it's like there's actual storylines entwined in the tournament to keep us invested. It's not hard, but I think all roads lead to Kenny.
So, you know what? I thought, okay, yeah, it looks obvious that it's Kenny Omega, but like, then I guess it's comparing it to last year's All Out and all the massive returns and debuts we got at All Out. Yeah. They've used Punk now on just Quake in the Lake. Now they're gonna just use Omega at Dynamite. So All Out, is there a big surprise still there? Do we need one?
Unless they do it like this, which is unless they do it like this, where they have a partner. I don't know who it could be. Someone who used to fill a stopgap, and then at All Out, that partner gets injured, and then Kenny comes through. But then I'm just like, but what about the rest of the bracket? Like, there's a match I want. I want him now because there's something I want there. But yeah.
Like even like mixing it up with like the Lucha Brothers and Roosh and like just Kenny in the ring with like Andrade and Roosh and Dragon Lee, like that's delicious, man. I can't wait for stuff like that. What was I gonna say? Forget it. I can't remember.
I'll take these comments. Steve says as long as we don't get another Joker like Johnny Elite, I'll be happy with all scenarios. Underground Tempers player says, I don't think Young Bucks and Omega should be in the tournament. The feud with Undisputed Era doesn't need a trios title. Maybe UE cost the Bucks next Wednesday.
The only reason, because UE are legit injured, so we don't know when we're gonna get that tournament. And to have a tournament without the Elite or the Young Bucks is blasphemous. You can't do that. You can't do that. So they need to be in this tournament. And I'm actually happy Undisputed. Obviously, I'm not happy they're injured, but I feel like the tournament's more interesting that they're not here because now the final's not as obvious. Because if Undisputed Elite, Undisputed Era was still here, it would have been Bucks, the Elite versus Undisputed Era, which would have been a great match, but predictable. Now it's like, okay, there's a bit of the stuff's a bit more unpredictable.
And it means you've got like meat on the bones for afterwards as well. Do you know what I mean? There's longevity in the belts. It's not right tournament. Now what do we do? There's stuff to go. And like I'm intrigued because we know how the Elite have set this precedent where they don't like winning belts the first time round. Like the Young Bucks, didn't win the tag belts like for time. Kenny didn't win the belt for time. Cody didn't want the belt. Hangman didn't win the belt for ages. We know that they're waiting for Kenny to get like this started, but I'm just wondering, like, is this the time where they go, you know what, we'll have that first time round, or do they keep this going where they make it to the finals and we see maybe House of Black take them out, but then obviously House of Black are busy. But
I don't think they win it. I think they get to the finals for sure, but I don't think they win it.
Yeah, like we were just saying, like. The biggest feud that they can have is with UE. And if we don't even know when UE are coming back, then it's like, do they necessarily need the titles now?
Then it's got to be Dark Order. It's the only
House of Black. House of Black.
Yeah. Not if they're busy off with, well, unless that's the title match, isn't it? The trios titles, Miro and Sting and Darby for the trios titles. I don't mind it, but it doesn't really need the belts.
Yeah. I mean, but it's good. It's good that it's we can't obviously pick out like we're saying who's gonna win, where this is gonna go. But yeah, we are a step closer. I think they said the first match is gonna be on Rampage on Friday.
No,
the first match next week.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Sorry. So, Kenny returning next week. It's obviously a cross-promotional thing with Game of Thrones, isn't it? The new Game of Thrones series is coming 22nd of August. So I don't know if it's, do you know what I mean? A money, like, look, we're gonna pull a big rating so that we can promote your stuff. So I don't know if that maybe adds to the fuel to the fire that Kenny will be there.
Possibly. Steve says here, should Blackpool Combat Club and JAS have been in this tournament? I didn't know who Trustbusters were. So Trustbusters
we're talking about the brackets. Should we just talk about the brackets now?
Yeah, I can. 1 second. Okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it in a second. So Trustbusters. Let me just get it up. Trustbusters, Steve, are basically they started on Dark, ran by Arya Davari. I think this is another kind of the gimmick itself is something to do with like he's coming to money. His trust fund has paid him out or something like that.
It's Entourage, isn't it? That's apparently. I think that's what I've never seen Entourage. I've just heard, and apparently, like their theme song is like a rip off of the Entourage theme as well. And Ari Gold is the geezer in Entourage, so that's why he's now Ari instead of Aria. So it's an Entourage ripoff, apparently.
So how they got in them, I guess best friends. It's like it's a bit meh, but like we were just saying with UE, I guess with JAS, with BCC, it leaves contenders and other teams we haven't seen in this tournament to then go back to. Like, for instance, it's brilliant to see Will Ospreay and Aussie Open here. But you can't imagine they're going to go on and win the championships necessarily. They've got obviously commitments elsewhere. But they'll provide us with, a good match here against Death Triangle. Will Ospreay versus Pac would always be something brilliant that we're going to get to see. So yeah, just to look at the rest of the brackets, like we're getting Dragon Lee in AEW, which is great as well. Obviously he had a good match recently with Roosh at Ring of Honor. What was that show called? Was that Death Before Dishonor?
Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah. So they face each other there in a crazy match. Obviously we're just talking about who the Bucks partner is going to be. House of Black, Dark Order. For me, House of Black have to walk through this entire side and reach the finals, unless
they do.
Like NK mentioned, Miro could be a factor, or Sting, I guess, could be a factor. With House of Black, he's got this thing with Malachi Black right now.
I don't see Best Friends versus Dark Order though, semi-final. I think you're right. It's going to be House of Black Best Friends, isn't it? Yeah. It's not poor. Well, it is poor, but it's two face teams, and I don't know how you really. It'd be fun, but it's not like semi-final worthy necessarily. I agree with Steve though. I think there are so many other trios. Like before this tournament started, like we could name all these different combinations of trios. I mean, you could even look over the pond, man. You could have pulled like a few Bullet Club members, or there's. Factions over there you could have just pulled a little trios from, but then someone needs to take the loss, I guess, as well.
Yeah. It's like, even we're saying that these people can get involved. They can get involved in the semi-final. Miro could come and rubbish this whole thing for House of Black in the semi-final. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the final, in the first round. And I think we saw as well with the likes of with Hangman to an extent, definitely with Scorpio Sky. I feel Tony Khan is still rewarding people that were early adopters to AEW. So it sounds outlandish, I'm about to say, but I wouldn't be half surprised if the likes of Best Friends walked away with this title as first champions.
Give it to him. I love it. I'm all for it, bro.
It sounds outlandish. Look, Orange Cassidy has been all over this product from day one. Again, Chuck and Trent, they've had a tough time. They've been featured in the tag team championship picture, but they haven't really done nothing. And this is the same thing. We all kind of scratched our heads and said, Scorpio Sky TNT champion came a bit out of nowhere. Like, why now? He's had better runs to the championship or better chances to become champion than now. And it was almost like they were kind of just rewarding him. Like, even for me, and I'll say this, it came at a time where obviously we saw Keith Lee coming to the company, Swerve came into the company, and it was almost like I was being cynical about it, but I thought, TK saying, well, you were the first black guy that came here, so I'll give you this title, sort of thing. He might just still be rewarding people for that initial loyalty. Look at the tag team championships. SCU were the first people to win them. Who would have bet money on SCU to be the first tag team champions in AEW? Don't necessarily be surprised if Best Friends will walk out of Chicago with the trios title.
You're not wrong, but I want you to be wrong.
I want to be wrong. Don't worry about that. I want to be wrong as well.
You're wrong. I don't.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Because even I don't see Best Friends even making it to the pay-per-view, because the other perspective is, if you're trying to sell a pay-per-view, surely you think about obviously storyline, but what's the biggest match I can make within a storyline makes sense? Cool. I would even say it's more likely for Dark Order. I would rather Dark Order win than Best Friends. And I'd rather that, because at least for the story, man. Yeah, for a story purpose.
I agree.
For a story purpose, but for me, listen. You see that left side of the bracket is sensational. We're getting Death Triangle versus United Empire first round. Are you mad?
It's a mad thing.
And then we're getting cool. We're getting Andrade, Dragon Lee, and Rouge versus Young Bucks, and I'm gonna just say insert Kenny Omega. Insert Kenny Omega. Please let's not undisputed, United Empire qualify and the Young Bucks and the Elite qualify. If I get if I get the Elite versus undisputed, I keep saying undisputed. United Empire, it's a UE United Empire, as like our semi-final. Oh my goodness gracious!
Listen, you know what? Now that you say that, it may actually be because let's be honest, we know Pac doesn't like staying around in the US. Yeah. Like he might just come back for this week, have his match, lose, and be off again.
Yeah.
So you might not be wrong.
The only thing that makes me think possibly not is Rush and Andrade just won. So theoretically they're gonna lose to the Bucks.
Yeah.
And then potentially Penta and I know they lose a lot, but Penta and Phoenix, they need a win maybe, and they can afford to have lost that match because they're gonna win in the first round. But I don't know. But Will Ospreay and Ray Phoenix in the same ring. Are you like okay, Pat? Yeah, cool. But Ray Phoenix and Ospreay in the same ring. Now, 2022 is the best year ever.
Even Penta to an extent, even though like I say,
oh my god, see, I've lost for words. This match, listen, give it to me now. Listen, United Empire again. Oh my god. Listen, I'm telling you this on the side note. TK loves Will Ospreay because he brought for Will to be the guy that he's brought back again. Yeah, like there's something because he had him on TV a lot. Like I think out of the Forbidden Door people, Will Ospreay was on TV the most. Out of the New Japan guys, he was on TV and he had like probably 2 matches on Dark Rampage. And then 2 matches, 1 match on Rampage, 1 match on Dynamite, and then obviously Forbidden Door, and then now he's back again.
He fits. The fit is excellent. He's an AEW guy. He fits. Like that's where he should be. But you know, Will plays cards close to his chest. Maybe one day we'll see him in a full-time capacity. Who knows? Big up Steve. Steve had to leave, but he said when it comes to AEW reviews, we are the trios champions. Appreciate you, Steve.
Big up yourself, Steve, man.
Right. So that's the brackets. Give us the belts. That's the brackets. Like we said, there's still a lot of other teams that were kind of left out the conversation here. And if you hadn't guessed it, that's one of the things we learned from the show, the brackets and what it's looking like. And like we said, we kind of mixed 2 points here as to who can now be the Bucks partner. But I guess we're gonna find out next week, lads. I guess we're gonna find out.
Banger of a match.
Yeah, 7 days, bruv. Less than 7 days. I'm gonna go sleep now, bruv.
I just can't believe it's not being kept for the pay-per-view. Like, I'm okay with that, but then I just feel like what's coming at the pay-per-view? There's got to be some type of something there beyond the matches. That is.
Do you think this might be the first pay-per-view with no debuts?
MJF. It may not be no debuts, but a return. Yeah, could be a return of some sort. But we'll see. We'll see. We're not too far from it now. Cool. Last but not least, we'll finish off with a bit of women's action, women's talk. Toni Storm and Athena, they're getting ready to challenge for gold. It seems, or what we found out, Kris Statlander's got an injury. She was the number 1 contender. She's got an injury now. So that automatically makes Toni Storm the number 1 contender for the Women's World Championship. I see Gigi shaking his head. I'll get to that in a second. And Athena, following Jade Cargill's title defense to Madison Rayne for the TBS Championship, Athena came out. She was a fake baddie. And she came out, attacked Jade Cargill and held up the title. Not usually a great omen when you're holding up the gold that's not yours, but I guess part of the omen is that you don't do it the week before the pay-per-view. We're not a week before, so I guess she gets away with it somewhat. Gigi, when I talked about Toni Storm there, you were shaking your head. What's the matter?
No, it was more about Kris Statlander, man. I feel so bad for her. Like she was really starting to gain momentum. The crowd were getting behind her. Like she was just on form. She like repackaged herself. She looked great. And it's just so unfortunate. It's not even the same leg either. It's a different knee. So she it's poor, man. I feel really bad for her. She was next up, next to blow. And yeah, it's just a shame, man. Real shame.
She was the one. She was the one where I felt like, like if anyone's gonna dethrone Jade, it has to be her.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone touch it. You know when Athena touched that belt, I was like, don't touch that, bro.
Yeah.
It's not yours.
I can't lie.
Don't
I'm not
touch
ready
it.
for Jade to lose. I'm not ready.
Don't touch it. Yeah.
You know what? I'll say I don't want Jade to lose it. But right now, I feel we're in a bit of a repetitive pattern.
Yeah.
And even her, like, I don't mind her just being the dominant champion. But just in terms of like a story element to this, nothing new is happening. They eventually find someone new and then she beats them. And then it's the same thing. Like, even those weeks where she was going week to week to week, just beating people. Now they've even had to kind of slow it down because maybe she's running through the roster too quickly. I've always said, for me, Chris Statlander was the person. And if it's not Chris Statlander, I'm giving it to Willow Nightingale. So I would say, again, they can make a star of Willow Nightingale if it's like they do the whole Willow Nightingale is all elite thing, because they haven't done that yet. They haven't officially signed her yet. And then she comes in straight off and bang, beats Jade. Like, I think the whole world will be gobbed, sort of thing. Yeah, everyone will be gobbed, and I think it'd just be something different.
Hometown victory or something. Like,
yeah.
A little surprise. But
I just be up for that.
I think you're right. I don't think it's necessarily, she needs to lose the title. I think it is literally just there needs to be more to these feuds. Like, whether it's, I don't know, we bring in something personal, or I don't know, someone not maybe from her past, I don't know, just a reason for her to have to fight someone, and we just need because all we're really now, the only thing I can see us waiting for is like a baddie split, and but Jade Cargill, bro, she just impresses me every week. Like, I can even turn a blind eye to like the lack of story, because like she's so in that like, ring. She's just so good, bro. Like the 5 count press up spot, like just little things like that are just golden, man. And she just hams it up to the camera so much.
I love the kiss on Madison Rain's forehead. Like, she brought that back. So I think I said, the disrespect, it needs to be that high. Like, if we're gonna go all in on this, and you think you're the best and you're better than everyone here, you're better than a women's champion, like, the disrespect needs to be on 10, needs to be on 11, in fact. So I was
bring Riho back, and just do that, because at least like Riho, you could just have Jade just taking the piss out of her every week, because she is so much smaller. Like, and then she maybe not even gets a sneak win, but maybe in a tag match or something, maybe gets a sneak win. But there's a bit more to that. Do you know what I mean? There's an actual reason to feud, and Jade could just poke fun at her constantly, or Layla Hirsch. But have they done that already? Her and Jade. I don't know if they have.
So. I think they did it early on.
Yeah, maybe Jade wasn't champion when they done it. Maybe.
I think. Oh, did they do it in the tournament? In the TBS tournament? I don't know.
Possibly.
Maybe.
I know they did it early on, but the other women we were talking about is obviously Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. I think that match at All Out is going to be a triple threat. Rosa, Storm, and Baker. Because I think they're going to do a triple threat. Nah,
fatal four-way with Hater. Fatal four-way with Hater.
I'd rather
Hater
that.
Gets the win.
I'd rather that, but that means Hater's going to take the pin, and it's like, I'd rather a bit more.
If Hater won,
give Hater the win.
If Hater the win,
got the ready-made feud with her and Britt.
Yeah. And then let's see how it's basically like the whole Randy Orton Triple H scenario of like, you've outgrown your master.
I'd love that. I'd personally love that. But
the women's division needs something like that.
Yeah, I feel like this match is not gonna. They're not gonna do a direct rematch or something that happened at Forbidden. Like, AEW do rematches a lot, but they don't do rematches on pay-per-view to pay-per-view. Like, it's rare that you see the same match over a pay-per-view. And I just don't see like the need to reload Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm again without. And I feel like because Britt's been such a part of that Thunderstorm storyline, it's like she's gonna have to do something in the pay-per-view, and she hasn't been doing anything else. So it's like they're gonna insert Britt into that. Which, if you're gonna do a triple threat, take the title off her. Take the title off Rosa. Like, take it off her. Like,
I was gonna say, even if they do a singles match, her versus Toni Storm, take the title off her. Like, I just feel like it's
done.
It's done.
It's not.
I feel like it's done. It's not gonna get any better. That's exactly where I am with this. I feel like
or turn her heel against Tony. Something.
She's got big plans for the women's division. She wanted it to be this, that, and the other. That's absolutely fine. But ultimately, you know, she doesn't have the final say on this. It doesn't seem to be a priority for the people that are making the decisions on the booking. And that's what it's left us with, turning the women's champion into a tag team wrestler alongside the person she just beat. You know, how you lot became friends and now you're running together. Like, come on, like this isn't far from the typical WWE can they coexist crap like that we just get bored of. Like, so I don't, even if it's a singles match, I'm taking the title off Thunder Rosa. But like you said, Britt Baker didn't make Forbidden Door. Where she lost, what was the last pay-per-view before that? Double or Nothing? Was she on that? I can't remember Britt Baker being on that pay-per-view.
Double or Nothing. Was Rosa champion then? Yes, she was. No,
yeah.
I don't think Britt was on Double or Nothing either.
Yeah, so I would assume she's gonna be on All Out. So I think that's a decent shout, NK. That it probably would be a triple threat match, especially because Tony Storm has just become number one contender. It's like they're gonna have to add some spice to this somehow.
Well, the thing is, Chris Statlander, Chris Statlander was never going. And the thing is, the reason why I'm like, okay, I get the rankings in terms of, okay, the number one contender's gone, so you're number two. But all roads led to, in my opinion, Chris versus Jade. Maybe not All Out. I still think Athena. I still think they're gonna do Athena first, then get to Chris. But then it's like, I don't know. It's weird, but I just want the title off Rosa. Give it to. Listen, I'm glad you not said Jamie Hayter because I love Jamie Hayter. I think she's amazing. Tony Storm or Jamie Hayter. I don't want to see another Britt Baker run. Respectfully, no. I feel like Britt. Well, like we like Britt. She's a star, but there needs to be a bit of fine tuning here and there because kind of like you're kind of becoming a shoot promo merchant a little bit. Still, like bare inside the terms in your promo, like that are not necessary. Like that sometimes shoot. I like shoot promos because I like the fact that wrestlers have a hit, especially if you're drawing upon history. Like we used to wrestle here. What does sandbagging have to do with what I'm watching in kayfabe? Like, like what does it have to do with anything? Like, like, I understand cussing a wrestler for coming from a certain environment. Like, you wrestled in indies, I wrestled in big stages. That makes sense. Sandbagging, why? Like, what's that?
I don't know. I think I get your point. Like, they didn't need to do it, but they felt that they needed to address like all the stupidness online where people are saying this and that. They didn't. Yeah, but it's not the same, is it? I don't think it has the same impact.
I mean, we're talking about things that haven't helped Thunder Rosa as champion. This is definitely one of them. Like,
she's got merch out of it, though.
I know, that's true. But merch is only merch if people are buying it. Like, otherwise, it's just a t-shirt design, isn't it? But like, I think, I like put it this way: in the men's division, I would never imagine a story would come out of the men's champion sandbagging, and now we're all coming around and speaking, and you see what I mean. So,
well, that's not. It was just a reference. I don't think it's where the stories come.
No, from. It's not. It's not where the story is. It's not. It's definitely not where the story is. That's correct. But it's something that you're using as part of the story, or ultimately. It's a thing of defamation, in it, if you're saying that someone's sandbagging you. So it's like in a division that's already struggling with a champion that's already struggling. Why do we want her to succeed? Like, are we putting the best foot forward if we're using this as material, basically? And that's what I mean. I don't think the men would have ever done that, whether it's true or not. So I don't think the women should go near that. It's almost maybe a bit catty. And I don't know if maybe because Britt Baker is who she is to the company and the women's division, if she's kind of got away with doing that. And like you said, Thunder Rosa tried to make the best out of the situation. Maybe took it lightly. In fact, maybe we're overthinking it. But it's not grounds for her story or for her to get back into this match or anything like that. So,
and just back to the TBS picture as well. If you want a stopgap, right? And I'd only have the title on her temporarily. But if let's say for whatever reason they don't want to do Willow because they don't think she's experienced enough, bring back Shida said she wants to come back anyway.
She's been on dark, bruv.
Yeah, bring Shida. But put Shida somewhere. Like what the hell? Like, dude, why isn't Shida a fixture in this division? I have no idea. Like, I get Riho because she lives in Japan. Fairs, it's a pack situation, and I understand that. But Shida, she lives here. Like, let's go. Like, why are we not getting a Fina versus Shida, getting the Nyla Rose? I don't know where that girl's doing cosplays as sharks on Twitter. Like, what's
her and Marina Shafir and Vicky Guerrero? They've just named their faction. I can't remember what it's called now. It's not a great name, but yeah, they've gone official, I guess, with their faction, or maybe I think
Facebook official.
We were talking about
we're now in a faction.
But it's the same problem we've had about the women's division for years. Not every storyline needs to revolve around the title. Like, there are so many women and I feel like the whole excuse of the women aren't good enough. Like, yes, I do feel like if you compare this roster to WWE, it's night and day. However, you're not making use of the tools you have anyway.
Yeah,
you're not even making of the tools. Like, I'm not expecting like Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch matches out of these women for the most part, aside from a few. What I'm expecting though,
but then that's even more reason to at least have an entertaining story or stuff that gets us to the match that may not compete with what we're seeing over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, there just needs to be thought put into why are these two fighting? What's the purpose? What's the beef? Like, and let's just fast forward to Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, and I hope they do it the way around we've just booked it, because I don't want to see title chase Jamie going after Britt. I think I'd rather it the other way around, like Britt resenting her because she's got a belt. And
it's mad. When she lost the title, Britt Baker, I was sad because her title run wasn't as good as kind of her becoming champion. But at the same time, I was happy because I sat here and I said, well, she's still the golden girl, regardless of who's carrying the championship. And this should at least allow for another story for women on TV. We'll have the TBS belt, we have the world title, and then we have whatever Britt Baker's doing, because she's newsworthy enough to have her another story. It hasn't worked out that way. They're now just shoving Britt Baker into the world title picture with whoever the world champion is for the women. So, but
again, you're right. We could be doing up Britt versus Jamie over here, away from all the belts, if you needed to, which you can. But it's an actual feud with reason and purpose and story and stuff you can pull from.
Yeah, it hasn't. We're nowhere closer to the promised land with the women's division. The men's division looking good, trios titles, returns, and all of that kind of exciting stuff. Young talent on the rise, but the women's division, it's like by obligation they're running the women's division. It's because they have to have women on TV or something like that. It's very lackadaisical, and it's a shame, really. It is a shame, but that's where we are. I'm not into Athena challenging Jade. I'm not interested in Athena winning at all.
I think the match will be a good match, though.
I said it months ago. I just want to see that Eclipse spot. Like, I just think it would look so sick because Jade's such a tall wrestler. I just think that Eclipse will look mad.
Yeah, nothing. This ain't nothing against Athena. I just don't feel like she got brought in at Double or Nothing. Between then and now, what has she really been doing? She's hardly even had matches. Like,
no. Yeah, it's not like we're even going, but her match, like, she's had a banger this week, or there's no reason to invest in her, even like match quality at the moment, which she could deliver. Like, at least put her on TV to match will bang booking at least for until we get into Jade. But
but yeah, because the only reason I said I'm very confident about that match, because I think it was the episode they had in Atlanta. I can't remember what happened in that episode, but the episode they had in Atlanta, they had a match. I think it was like Jade,
the tag match.
Yeah, the tag match, and then Jade and Athena had a very good sequence in that match. I was like,
I forgot about that.
I was like, okay, like this. If the rest of the match resembles this, then I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, storyline wise and booking wise, you have the fact that I have to reference a sequence for my investment of the match just shows that they ain't done their job, innit?
Yeah, they ain't done their job. Those are the 5 things we learned from AEW Dynamite or Quake on the Lake. Is there anything else from the show you guys want to mention? Anything you particularly enjoyed? Anything you didn't particularly enjoy?
Props for them to build this whole, like I've touched on the Game of Thrones stuff. Like the new series is obviously called House of Dragon, and the way that they've built Garcia and Daniel Bryan to be the Danielson. I don't know why, brother. It will never click with me that. Like for them to be the Dragon Slayer and for them to build it so that the promo now ties in. Like I just think that's a nice little nod to be doing that.
Yeah. I love Jay Lethal. I'm tired of this Satnam Singh. I'm tired.
Satnam Singh is blessed, bruv. Sanjay Dutt needs to stop speaking, bruv. I can't bear his
it's
promos.
Sanjay Dutt. Listen, I'm listen. He's taking a creative role backstage. More power to him. So he's probably allotted a certain amount of screen time because of creativity. Who knows? This is tired. And you're dragging FTR into this for what reason?
Yeah, that's the worst part.
I'm like, oh, this is beneath you. Like,
hold on, though. This is what everyone wanted. Everyone was complaining, oh, Jay Lethal's on Dark. Jay Lethal's on Dark. Now he's on TV. No one wants to see it.
No. I don't want to see it.
I don't mind Jay Lethal. It's what he's doing. Like, I didn't. Okay, Battle of the Belts happened. Right, cool, brilliant. Now Wardlow and Jay Lethal are gonna wrestle again.
Like, I just want to see Wardlow powerbomb Satnam. Like, how do we get there?
You could be feuding with Eddie Kingston somewhere, or there's bare other man, best friends. There's other man them to be feuding. There's other people. I swear this feud even started because of best friends. Now it's transferred onto Wardlow. What rubbish?
Now best friends are chasing trios titles.
But why weren't
the decorated tag team champions around the world are here defending Wardlow? It's a mess.
Why weren't they in the trios tournament? They're right there. Like they could have been the ones to take that L in that first round. Because them and best friends have previous as well, man. That would have made more sense.
This is I swear, this better. If FTR are doing this year at All Out, send them to Japan now. Send them on write them off TV. This is not how the best tag team of the year should be moving. Now, I understand, cool. Now, the Young Bucks, the super match, they wanted with the Young Bucks. Obviously, Omega's back, so they've had to take the Bucks out of that and put them into the trios. Fair enough. That's probably what they were leading to anyways. Find something. And probably they want to keep the titles on Lee and Swerve, so they don't want FTR versus that. Fine. Please, there are bare tag teams. There are bare things they can do.
They still haven't done United Empire.
And Jay Lethal is not what Wardlow should be doing. Come on, G.
Yeah, but come on, man. Him powerbombing Satnam Singh is gonna be a spectacle when it happens.
Bro, he's a champion. We need to think bigger for him. And that's what I'm doing anyway. Him powerbombing Satnam is the least of my worries because he's carrying a title that he deserved to win, and we were behind him when he won it, and then we were waiting for them to almost, whether you were in the camp of they can book big men well or they can't or whatever you wanted, like it's dropping the ball. That's where we are with Wardlow right now.
Now I'm just like, I love Wardlow. Now I just want Hobbs to take it now. Let the other big man take it.
That's where we all are. That's where we all are.
I'm just what's going on? And the thing is, I've been like in my head just like thinking, how was the TNT title falling? And I know when you look at Cody's reign, if you look at the amount of like serious competitors Cody's faced in his reign, he faced Jungle Boy, Eddie Kingston, Ricky Starks, like so many. Obviously, you had the odd Warhorse here and there, but Brody, like Cody's Lance Archer, like Cody had a list of credible names. Brody Lee, he beat Orange Cassidy. He probably beat up a couple man. Darby's beat incredible guys. So how do we go from Miro, Eddie Kingston? Miro's battered, hella credible, man. The CVs matter. Your resume matters. Now you're showing me Wardlow, Orange Cassidy. Yes. Let's with all due respect, Jay Lethal. Like no. Where's the other man on the roster?
Even akin to Miro's run, Miro wasn't in any like deep story with anyone. He would show up maybe every 2 weeks, every 10 days, either on Dynamite or Rampage, and do a title defense, and he'll get out of there. That's it. Takes his belt and he's gone. Like that's where, at the very minimum, Wardlow should be. And we've seen the squash matches against all the smaller guys on our entire roster. Like there's big guys there. Like, not that I rate him, Comorado, a Lance Archer, a Brody King, Keith Lee. I mean, might mean one champion's losing to another, whatever, and crossing divisions, but like he can have like defenses against the big men, like sort of thing. Make that be a thing until he gets to maybe a Will Hobbs, and it's not so easy, or he's unsuccessful. Like someone that, you know, was one of the top faces in this company earlier this year, how hard they worked on him to get him to that position, overcome his master in MJF. It's now like, bro, you're running around with flipping Sanjay Dutt, Satnam that isn't wrestling, can't wrestle. And this Jay Lethal stuff is just, it's lower mid-card stuff.
It's bad.
Now I'm sad again. Someone say something good about AEW.
No, the thing is, Dad,
Omega's back next week.
Yeah,
like it's stuff like. Do you know what? Do you know why it's so frustrating with AEW, and the reason why like I get so because I'm like, this. I've seen you've done it before. Like you've done greatness. Like look at the rest of the show. Look at man like Luchasaurus. All they do these big. For some reason, every big man except the champion is doing well. Every big man except the champion is doing something of note, but then the champion is doing rubbish. Nah, man.
It's facts. It's not what we want, but boy, it's where we are. Well, we'll see. It's a couple of weeks away. We'll see if you get something on the all-out card at least. We'll see her.
Go find Hikaleo and New Japan. Do something.
Just fuck him.
Hikaleo, brother. You were right. Nah, you've gone too far, bruv. Hikaleo. Nah.
Oh,
come on, bruv.
At least you'll get a cheap import pop. You'll get a cheap. Oh my god, it's a New Japan guy pop! Yay!
Hikaleo.
We'll see. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Appreciate everyone that joined live. We probably could have started a whole nother podcast on the rest of this AEW show, but that was the 5 things we learned. Obviously, put in the comments what you liked, what you learned from the show as well. Like I said, you can find GG and NK on their own channels, Wrestlings and GG on Wrestling. All the information is down below in the description. Thank you guys for joining, NK and GG, as always. And yeah, same time next week. We'll see you guys again. See you later.